From the Detroit Free Press, it's Monday, May 4th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kerry Jr. The Michigan Health Department reports over 547 new cases of COVID-19 and 29 new deaths. In total, there are over 43,000 cases and over 4,000 deaths statewide. As cases in Michigan trend down, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has begun to slowly reopen sectors of the economy. But Whitmer is still at odds with the state legislature on how to deal with the crisis. Last week, GOP lawmakers refused to extend the state of emergency previously requested by Governor Whitmer. The governor then used her executive powers to extend the order through May 28th. Now the GOP legislature is exploring ways to limit the governor's ability to make unilateral decisions. Republicans say they should be included on decisions regarding the handling of the crisis, and GOP lawmakers say that they are considering pushing back on the governor by restricting federal funds. The governor needs legislature approval to access the money once the current term ends in about 40 days. However, Governor Whitmer says her team will continue to consult with professionals across fields to make decisions.
I am going to listen to our epidemiologists and our public health experts. I'm going to work with our leaders in business and labor to make sure we get this right.
Starting today, the National Guard is working with the Michigan Department of Corrections to test prisoners in the Upper Peninsula. The National Guard will break into 15 teams to tackle 6 correctional facilities. For more details, I spoke with reporter Angie Jackson. What have you learned so far about the testing that's going on in UP? How many prisoners are being tested?
They are going to be testing a total of about 7,500 prisoners, and those are all the prisoners in the Upper Peninsula.
Do we know what prisons specifically they're going to be targeting for these tests?
Yep, so there are 6 prisons in the UP, and they're going to be going to Alger Correctional Facility, Marquette Branch Prison, Newberry Correctional Facility, Chippewa Correctional Facility, and then Kinross Correctional Facility.
What's the term of this testing? How long will it take?
To test all of these prisoners, they expect to start Monday and then to wrap up the following Saturday.
Has there been any previous testing done already in the UP and in the prisons?
There has been some testing in the UP, and there's only 2 positive cases at UP prisons so far. There's 1 case at Kinross Correctional Facility and then 1 case at Newberry Correctional Facility.
Do we know if prisons are prepared to section off or quarantine specific inmates that have tested positive?
Yeah, so the Department of Corrections says that part of why they're doing this testing is to determine who's positive and maybe hadn't been showing symptoms previously, so that they can arrange the housing units so that they'll have housing units full of people who've tested positive and then housing units of people who have tested negative for the virus.
And to clarify, Baraga Correctional Facility will be the first prison to be tested. The State Corrections Department has tested 10% of Michigan's prison population. Of those, 45% have tested positive. Beaumont Hospital in Wayne, Michigan is reopening full-service operations. The campus was preparing for a surge in COVID-19 cases. Many workers were transferred to other hospitals and some were laid off to accommodate the outbreak. The hospital could reopen as early as today, and employees have been notified to return to the Wayne campus. State park officials are taking precautions to prevent the potential spread of the coronavirus. The city of Grand Haven closed parking lots for the state park over the weekend after, quote, overwhelming crowds gathered on Saturday. Officials reminded visitors to remain at least 6 feet away from one another, and no future closures have been announced. That's the latest. For more information about COVID-19 in Michigan, visit www.freep.com.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. The Michigan Health Department said its contact tracing plan, for now, will rely mostly on dogged investigations and phone calls to alert people they may have been infected by the coronavirus, not high-tech apps that are being developed. Tech giants Apple and Google have rolled out early versions of their COVID-19 contact tracing tools to public health organizations. But one question that will need to be answered as these phone apps become available in the next few weeks is whether Michiganders will still be able to download and use tracing apps, even if they are not tied to the state health system. The state health department has said probably not. States nationwide and countries globally have been wrestling with the enormous scale of contact tracing, identifying infectious disease carriers during a pandemic that has taken more than 225,000 lives. Utah and the Dakotas, north and south, already have apps, and other countries, such as China, South Korea, Singapore, and Australia, have deployed them to help contact trace. But if Michigan isn't planning to use apps, there may be little reason for people to download them.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department and news of one more NFL signing. A week after the draft, all but one player who participated in the NFL Combine found a pro team. That player was Shea Patterson. But that's not the case anymore. The former Michigan quarterback couldn't have landed in a better place, honestly. On Sunday, Patterson came to terms with the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. There, he'll be an understudy to perhaps the best quarterback in the world, Patrick Mahomes, and get to learn from head coach Andy Reid, one of the foremost innovative minds in the history of the game. Patterson joins former Michigan teammates Mike Dana, whom Kansas City drafted, and Lavert Hill, another undrafted free agent. And ahead of Patterson on the depth chart is another Wolverine, Chad Henne, and another former teammate, this time at Ole Miss, Jordan Tayama.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer. See you tomorrow.